What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Now, I'm really excited for this issue because we are diving back into the Elseworld stories of Dark Knights of Steel. And in this little mini-series that we're getting, we get two different stories. The first story picks us up with a Viking Deathstroke, 6 months after the War of the Three Kingdoms, which we saw in Dark Knights of Steel. The second story, that one takes us 25 years before the Battle of the Three Armies. It takes us to the empire that is under the ocean. One story by Jay Kristoff, the Atlantis story by Tom Taylor. They aim to expand the lore of these Elseworld stories to give us more from Dark Knights of Steel, the medieval era of DC Comics. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we pick up with our first issue, we pick up at a battle taking place 6 months after the War of the Three Kingdoms. The leader of this army is Vandal Savage. He is leading his men into battle. Becoming one of his most trusted warriors is Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. Today is a victory for them. Black Mask has fallen. What remains of his forces, they flee. The day has been won, and Deathstroke tells Savage to call off his men, that there is no point in slaughtering anybody else. But Savage instructs Killer Frost to lay waste to anybody left standing, to leave no survivors. We are taken to the next eve, in the stead of the Vandal clan, and Vandal Savage speaks to everybody that for 21 years, the Allwinter has laid thick upon these lands. Some have withered in the chill since the Old Kingdom fell, but their clan has prospered, and with Black Mask being defeated, everything that was his has become theirs, and the rest will fall beneath them. With everybody drinking, having their fill, Savage and Killer Frost toast to Deathstroke. And while Deathstroke is grateful for everything so far, he is ready for his payment. The Slade that Savage once knew isn't necessarily the man that he began with all of this back in those days. While the soldiers in the ranks nicknamed him the Deathstroke for how ferocious he was in battle, Slade says that this man is dead, though Savage would disagree considering what he saw on the battlefield yesterday. The two of them going for a walk overlooking the kingdom. The truth is, the two of them are pretty old friends. They have been through countless battles together, but their paths are about to go in two different directions. Savage sees an empire in the making, one that is forged in frozen blood of the Old Kingdom, one that has been created in the fire of constant war. Slade continues to ask for his money, and Savage becomes curious, is money all you care for? But in Slade's mind, what else is there left? All warmth swallowed up by the winter, all color ran gray. Color no longer existing in this land. And so Savage, he considers this, and he asks him to find a monster that he will pay handsomely. If coin is all you're after and that is all you feel is left in this life, I have the perfect mission for you. And so he sets sail. As they sail across the ocean, Killer Frost has joined him. Slade looking at the water, thinking of the days that it was once blue, when this world once had color in it. But he also discusses how he doesn't really want Caitlyn here, that he doesn't need an escort. But the way Killer Frost sees it, she's leading this expedition, that she is gonna be the one to slay the beast and bring it back to Savage. While they row, this is when they are attacked by a freaking kraken, surfacing right in front of them, taking out boats left and right. Helpless with nothing to do, Caitlyn does everything she can to fight back, but it is too monstrous. It is too big, and as it swells up, gets prepared to come down on Killer Frost's ship. This is where Slade grabs his battle axes, and he jumps into the mouth of the Kraken. It swallows him up, and it begins to submerge into the water. Everyone believing that the Deathstroke had been slain, that the Kraken defeated him. But as they gaze upon the water, they see the Kraken rising up again. This time, it's not moving. This time, they see the battle axes breaching the skin of the Kraken. Slade Wilson has cut his way out of the Kraken after slaying it from the inside. Taking us almost a week later, we pick up in an ancient temple. They make their way through looking for anybody that might be alive. This is when they come upon a group of individuals, all armed and all cloaked. And Killer Frost doesn't waste a second. She immediately attacks. All of them jump in. With this ambush, they are slaying them one by one. With all the fighting going on, Slade Wilson recognizes a voice. A memory flashes into his mind. He hears a name. This stops him dead in his tracks. Taking off his helm, he knows who this is. When Killer Frost goes in to take care of the last remaining individuals, what she was not expecting was the battle axe that now is embedded in her shoulder, dropping down to the ground, wondering what madness has drove Slade to do this. And that madness is that the people that just ambushed, one of them was Slade Wilson's wife, or at least his ex-wife. Killer Frost says that Savage will have his head for this, throwing the coin back, saying that he can have the money back, that if he really wants my head, he can come find me. With Killer Frost wounded and leaving, Deathstroke stands before his ex-wife, before Addie. He sees that what they were hunting was no beast. It was a boy. Now he wonders what kind of boy can get the attention of Savage. He reached out. He grabbed the boy's cloak, exposing the boy. What we see is that in a world of gray, this boy is the only color. This is what picks us up with our second story. 25 years before the Battle of the Three Armies, we pick up with Jonathan and Martha Kent. In this time era, the two of them were grand warriors, fighters like none other. We pick up with the two of them in the midst of battle, but this is not a battle that they would lose this day. The two of them, both captains, they defeat all of these bandits. And then we pick up later that evening. After they get a debriefing, they learn that there is a port that is currently really at risk. The city of Lejeune. They have heard rumors of tides of blood, helmets, tridents, body parts washing up on shore. There has been a power struggle in the depths of water, a war being waged beneath the surface. They don't know who the victor is, so they are guarding any potential dangers from the sea. There could be no threat at all, or there could be an invasion preparing to come to the surface. With Martha and John going near the campfire, this is where we run into Jimmy and we run into Amanda Waller. Back in the early days before Amanda Waller became a general of a freaking army, she almost lost her life today. Had it not been for John and Martha, she wouldn't be alive. Really, this is just letting us know where Amanda Waller is 25 years before the war that takes place, where she is the big bad guy behind everything going on. This is what takes us to the underwater palace of Lemuria. One of their prisoners has escaped. Someone is making a dash for the surface world, and Orvax is being tasked with leading an army and killing her to go to the kingdom of the Waynes. Do so if they must, burn down anything that stands in your way, drown the entire city. If Atlana reaches that city, he doesn't care what war that might start, because the surface world cannot know of the false heir. This is where we see that who they are bowing to, the man that is giving them orders. This is Emperor Manta. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You guys know that I absolutely loved Dark Knights of Steel. If you haven't checked out Dark Knights of Steel, highly recommend you do so. I have a full video, the complete thing from issue number 1 to issue number 10, I believe, including any tie-ins that were added in. But Dark Knights of Steel was definitely one of my favorite stories. Tom Taylor does Elseworld stories so well. And so far, this story, even though it's not Tom Taylor, at least the first story's not Tom Taylor, it's off to a great start. Slade Wilson, a Viking. Slade Wilson freaking slaying a Kraken. We're seeing how strong he is, how long he has been warring. But now he comes across a boy that in a world of all gray, in a world of lacking color, He finds a boy that is color. And I love when Slade Wilson's stories are wrote like this, where he's the bad guy, he's the anti-hero, he is morally questionable, he is the mercenary. But when he is confronted by something such as this, we see that his morality does kick in, that he does have a conscience, he has ethics, there is a line he won't cross. And so this boy is going to fall under the protection of the Deathstroke, of one of the most legendary warriors that is currently standing in this realm. Who would stand against him? Who would fight against the Deathstroke? Who would challenge him? After hearing of his triumphs, the battles that he has won, the body count that he now has under his belt, he is a thing of folklore. But what's also nice about this comic is that we get an Atlantean story taking place 25 years before the events of everything going on in that story or everything going on in the Dark Knights of Steel story. So it's taking us to Martha and Jonathan Kent back in the days when they were kicking butts, when they were warriors, when they were knights, when they were captains on the battlefield, just slaying dudes. Needless to say, I am very excited. I'm so glad that we are getting more Dark Knights of Steel. Hands down, one of my favorite stories that come out in recent years, and I can only hope that this does very successful so that they give Tom Taylor more free reign to create a more expansive medieval era DC Comics. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that has been going on with the Dark Knights of Steel, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely caught up on everything that has gone on with that series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you're getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.